Good evening. This time, actually, I'll go here for a second. This time, I think I might have solved the problem I had with my tea before, where it just ran out and went cold. So, now I have a proper cup of tea. I can tell when this is due for a trim because it catches tea. I think I'm okay right now. The only big problem with it is that it's too big for my coaster. I lied. It actually fits my coaster. That's my coaster. So, there we go. Alrighty, let's get over here to development and see what we've got. Gosh, what is all this? I have no memory of any of this. That's a lie, but it can be a bit like that sometimes. You jump into a bit of code you haven't worked on for a bit. Aha! This looks exactly like it's related to this thing here, which if I had the magnifier going, you'd be able to read, but that is the only thing currently on my to-do list, which is this blueprint editor. When you open it, it is empty, even when you have something selected. And actually, the other thing that would be good on there, just create a new to-do game object, is also related to that, like empty state for like blueprint editor and routine editor. So at the moment, there's no difference particularly between selecting something or nothing. The main time you end up with an empty selection is when the robot or factory that was selected gets exploded. That's got to sound interesting. I wonder if audio will still work okay with the mic, like way out here. I suspect it will, but we shall see. Just move a few things. There. Just for my own peace of mind. Yes. Excellent. All right, we're running, are we? Yes, we're running. So here we go. I can demonstrate the issue. There's Boop, the malfunctioning robot, trying to do all these things. That's working quite well. Very glad I got that working. Got another malfunctioning one. Oh yes, it cannot turn left on account of having very cheap legs. It's another thing to add to the to-do list. Get those legs. Oh, so there's the issue just there. So I had something selected, opened the blueprint editor, and nothing. After I've opened it once, it's fine. The next time I select something, it will have something there. And I think it then should update. There's that selection not happening. So I know selecting different factories updates. What if I select a robot? Yeah, updates for a robot as well. That robot exploded, which is why this went empty. I was just having a quick check whether I could update a robot before it explodes. It doesn't do anything, but it lets me as well. So that's another thing. I need to make it so that if it's not editable, you sort of can't do anything. With that, it should just show, display what the robot is, and probably not show those things. All right. Doesn't matter that this mic is way out. The T still bumps it. Well, that's fine. Okay, so how am I going to fix this? Well, I think this is how I'm going to fix it. I think on enable, I'm going to do something. Load up the currently selected thingy. Now, the current way I have this working is essentially let me just close that here. I've got this selection updated that gets called when yeah, just saw that area down there, which is where have I ended up here? The error down here, which is the exact error that that is being generated by this line of code here. But yeah, so this should be being called anytime a selection occurs, and apparently I have a breakpoint there. I don't know if that was on purpose from last time. Have I got an update there? The update is useless, so I'll delete that. Maybe I started making it for some reason. Maybe it was still there from the template. Okay. So yeah, that seems to be working. So yeah, this selection update, it gets called, I believe, by the has routine selection. So this is the thing when I click on stuff that selects it, keeps track of what's selected, and keeps that selection indicator in the right place. But also, it will let anything know when something's selected. So it actually specifically tells the routine editor and the blueprint editor. So it's not doing a great job, or I'm not doing a great job here of using dependency inversion. Really, anything that's interested in the selection should just be able to subscribe to the selection by registering their callback or whatever with this, and then this would just call all of those. Oh, and that's what this to do is about. But I might not kind of need that. If I need to add one more thing that gets notified of selections, then it's probably worth implementing that pattern. Anyway, routine editor, it actually directly has its selected robot or factory updated. It's interesting. Let's just stick with LF line endings if possible. Oh, and that was actually the blueprint editor is the interesting one here. So yeah, there we go. So this one, it's actually calling selection updated right there. So this should be running. Let's check that. Could get the debugger running, or I can just say selection updated. Caused. Are we column now? Yeah, it says it's blueprint editor. That'll tell us if it's actually being called. So is it being called, and then because it has not been enabled, it's not doing anything, or is it just not being called at all? That's the question. And what was that? warning I got there. No. Anyway, let me select something. So I'm not getting anything on the console. I do that. That's when I need to kind of do that. I select something else and it works. Okay, so I think the fix for this is basically on enable. We can pretty much just call its own selection updated. And for the selection, we probably want to get that instance of that. And what does it have on it? Does it actually have, do we have access to just read the selection of that? Let's just have a look. So, public selectable unit selection. So yeah, we should be able to just get over this side. I'm going to move that to there and that to there. Okay. So basically, we should just be able to. What have I done? Where's Blueprint Editor? That's the one I'm working on. I like to keep the one I'm working on the far left. Okay, so this is the selection. And then just, if we have one, I'll just call that with selected. There we go, so that'll basically mean whenever it's enabled, it'll just show whatever is currently selected there. Now, does this get called with a null selection? I think so. And in fact, I probably want to call it with that anyway. So I don't think I even need to check. And that means there's some cleanup here. We should be able to inline this. Get rid of that debug log. And let's see how we go. Run it again. All I need to do is select something and then open that and see what happens. And that's just saying my tools package apparently doesn't have any code in it. So it's not going to compile it. I don't care, I'm not using the tools right now. Okay, so I select something, open this. Still looks a bit empty. So here in my pocket buzz, let's just check that's not something critical. Just good news. I have succeeded in something. All right, so I probably should have left that logging in there because I'm still not seeing anything logged here. And if selection updated was being called on enable, hang on. That should be, that was being called at the right time. So I'm calling on enable, and also this instance here is relevant. I'll just pull that back out to a temporary variable again. Call it selection like before. Yep. And it's just semicolon, so everything's falling apart. Yeah, I'll just pop that down there. And yeah, so that I can just make this into a template string and put whatever that oops, whatever that selection is in there. Do a game object? No, that's fine. Let's see what output that gives us. Hopefully I hadn't just forgotten to save or something. Oh, wait. I think on enable might call before start. I need to review that. This tea is good. I'm feeling warm enough that I don't even feel like I should have a jacket on. That could also be the heat from the CPU handling a stream. Okay, so clicking that, I think essentially the game object is inactive. So I think what I probably need to do is change how it's nested as well, maybe. Oh, anyway, click that. No logging. Close it, open it again, still nothing. So it should be having this run and that run. And hang on, let me just this is really weird because this should be running whenever I select something, regardless. Unless I somehow broke something in a weird way. All right, why is that happening? Definitely all saved up. And that was literally just generating an error message down here before. Do I want that to... I don't really want it to clear on play. Can I just say don't? Yeah, now it's not. What are you doing, project? Why no debug log? Kind of think I should pop open a Git, take a look at my version control and just see, like, what have I actually changed? Okay, I changed a bunch of stuff last time. Is there anything I changed that breaks stuff? I should have made a commit after the last stream. I removed this just now. Could that have somehow done it? Here we go. I'll add an empty update method. I'll also maybe put a thing here. Just to see what's going on. I don't think I want to log the update. Not getting a null pointer exception or anything here, so no. Quite strange. If that fixes it, then I'm still not going to be happy because why would that matter? I just have a small saucer that I'm using as a lid for my tea so it doesn't cool down too quickly. It's nice to not be running out so quickly. All right. I hope these aren't any of them related to something not happening. That's fine. That's just my assembly definition with tools. What's all this about? Robo blueprint. Warning. Defines a double equals operator, but doesn't open. Okay. Let me just quickly address that one. Okay, so I've overridden not equals and that, but I'm not overriding object equals. Okay. I think that basically means I have to do that. Or at least it's concerned if I don't do that. Yeah. I need that one. Now it'll just be said. Okay. Yeah. Basically, yeah, that's a good idea. If A equals now return false, if type of I got O.get typing. This is all getting suggested by whatever is making suggestions in Visual Studio. Could it be whatever this tiny ghost is? Jelly code completions? There might be some kind of AI or similar related thing in there. Anyway, yep. If the other one isn't a thing, then it's not equal. If the other one's not a robo blueprint, it's not equal. And then we basically just need to return. We just want to call equals equals with this and fine, I'll call a binary in the standard binary way. Haskell's really interesting because if you've got something like this operator, I know that it's a robo blueprint. So why don't we just do that? There we go. Yeah, so in Haskell, if you have something like this, function that takes 2 arguments, then you can call it like this, or you can call it like this. You just put backticks around it, like that, I believe, to make it callable, like to have it take its argument on the left. Something along those lines. So they may be factually incorrect with the exact syntax, but yeah, essentially it's nice like that. And same the other way around. Oh yeah, C# has operator overloading, and geez, what's the thing where you have different signatures with the same for a function with or method with the same name. Because of the static typing, it can call the correct version of the function based on the arguments. TypeScript, you can define functions in that way in TypeScript, but they always end up calling the same function because under the hood it's just JavaScript. So then you have to have a function that figures out what arguments it was called with and then behave appropriately. And I don't usually bother most of the time because it's not very worth it. Anyway, can be made read-only, can it? Make it read-only? Yeah, fair enough. Now, is that going to make you happy that I've now implemented equals? There's a lot in JavaScript potentially to hate, but I made a conscious effort to learn it well, and there's still a lot to hate in there. Definitely the adding TypeScript and the other things in the past that we used to add types like flux and flow made a big positive difference. But yeah, so like it's nice to just use a real language for a change, like where things kind of more or less make sense and you don't have to like tread super carefully to avoid millions of gotchas. Yeah, if I clear that, then I should get a warning again about that at some point. Yes. So Omega Killer, I don't know if you saw before, but essentially I was trying to fix this bug where the blueprint editor is empty when you, if you select something while it's closed, it's empty. I could just run that. But then after the first time you open it, it will remain sort of working. So let's say I've got that factory and that factory. Well, let's take this one because it's got no parts on, or just legs. And that one that's got some other parts on. So I've got let's grab that one that has a shield and a laser. Open it. Nothing visible here. Now if I select that one with just the legs, you get that. If I select that one with the other parts, you get that. But if I close it now, select this, I've got that. I've just realized something. I realized why I wasn't seeing my logging, and here's why. Because I was not showing any regular logs. Uh-oh. I'm supposed to have a bunch of Death Knight I'm alive kind of things going on. Where's that? That's just on the awake for robots. I think that was just a joke, so let me just comment out that joke so that I can actually read my logs. And let's just restart this too so that I can actually see what's going on. I was so confused. There should be a thing that detects when I'm confused and then just kind of points to things like things that are hidden. Oh, apparently it wants me to do object.get hash code as well. This is so that you can put things into lists and sort them and stuff. I don't think I'm going to keep following those warnings for now. Although get hash code might be the last thing that's needed, but not going to jump through that hoop right now. Yep. Okay, everything there looks reasonable. I'm going to hit clear. And let's run this thing. All right. So there's my blueprint editor. Let's select this. Should have a wheel on. No wheel. Okay. But I did have on enable called, and it's showing factory 3. And selection updated is called. And I'm getting start called after that. And that could be the issue here. Basically, because I don't have everything working yet. So I think that'll be it. I've got my start, I'm getting my mount points and everything. On enable happens before that. So why don't I just take this stuff and move it here. Because it's not actually set up until I've got my mount point UIs and my RoboPart cards selected. Detected. So now I'm going to overconfidently go and inline this again before I've confirmed it working. And let's see if that does the trick. I'm going to comment these guys out as well because they should not be needed. And I'll delete them in a moment. Bunch of clearing things here. Where's that coming from? Yeah, I'll put UIs. I often end up with too much logging left in. It's a good habit to clean it all up after you've finished working on something so that you don't have to sort of wade through a sea of logs. Okay. All right, let's have a look. I'm going to clear that lot. Select this. So yeah, nothing from there. Open that up. There we go, got our wheel. So we've got start. That called selection updated. Then we had these mount points get cleared and have things added on them. Setting and creating, where's that coming from? Mount point UI, setting and creating, yeah. So I think I can clean those up. Just comment that one out, I might want it later. Hey, Diggs BTW1. What's up is I just fixed a bug, so that's awesome. Now this editor will work properly. And that was the only thing I had in mind, well, only thing I had on the list here when I started the stream. So now I've just got another hour and a bit to do whatever I think I should do. So I think I'll get started on the empty states for these. So this is when nothing is selected, such as you've selected a robot and it got exploded. The routine editor and the blueprint editor, which is just there. They shouldn't show anything. They should not show anything. They should show an alternative state that says select something to to edit the routine or whatever. So I haven't really taken any time so far to think about how I want to represent that. I think the blueprint editor might be a good one to start with. So yeah, I think I just need to have, I could do it like the really cheap way of just taking, let's see, I got that contains those things. Yeah, I think this is the point here where I could have either this or something else. So I might even go ahead and, that's the wrong thing. Not delete, duplicate this. There it is, duplicate. And this is just going to be empty. Empty message. So I kind of still want this to work, but I want it to get hidden. What am I seeing here? Is this, whose bounds are these? And why do they go down that far? Anyway, this doesn't need to have any of these things. Don't need those or anything. It doesn't need to be initially visible. It also does not need an image. Just take that out of there. So this is an image component, and it should probably just be a panel. What does a panel have? Oh, it just has an image with a source image of background. Okay, fair enough. Well, that's what I'll do here. I'll just set that to background. We have it. There. Yep, that seems appropriate. Yeah, I could just have that, just to do it a real hacky way. Just put it here. Just do it like that. And I might even get that right against that. Just make that 50 so that close button doesn't go behind it. Actually, it's okay if the close button is in front of it, so I'll just make sure, yeah, that's in front. Okay, cool. We've got a good empty message. It's perfect because it's empty. But no, that's not what we want. We probably just pop a text. Have it say select a robot. Oops. There we go. The text on it says select a robot or factory. I'll do it the other way. Factory or robot. Because factories are the primary thing that you can actually edit. Yep. Okay, maybe this Text Mesh Pro yellow thingy is not quite the best thing to resize compared to resizing the actual whole thing. Okay, let's put that in the middle. Let's put the text in the middle of that thing. And I think that's good enough for now. Now being still prototyping stuff. I'll make it a little bigger though. So I guess I lied. It wasn't quite good enough. It wasn't quite big enough. No, just no reason not to have that big. And then if I make the text bigger, then not a problem. I make that a little bit like less black. Yeah. Okay, I've got my empty message with my empty message text. So now what do I want to do? Basically, anytime my selection is empty on Blueprint Editor, which is just here. So whenever selection updated is called, this selection equals null. I'll do more than just that. I also want to show the empty message. Do I have a what do we got? Checking on here. Yeah, I don't have anything just like dragged into here, but that's fine. I'm going to add something. I've actually got an hour. I can use my. I've got some sticky notes stuck on my timer here. Sometimes just like remembering that I have some sticky notes is tricky. So I've got to put them somewhere I'll see them. They're not relevant until tomorrow though. All right, serialize field. What are we serializing? We're serializing a thing, and it's going to be the empty message. I think it's going to be a Text Mesh Pro GUI. I will name it empty. Oh, actually, it's not going to be that. It's just going to be a game object. Because I'm just going to I just need to call enable or not enable on it. And actually I need another one for the I don't know what shortcuts I'm doing there. I need another one for the mount point diagram. So that's what we'll show alternatively to the empty message. And hitting enter was not the right move there. Okay, cool. So now that I presume that I will remember to drag those into there. Just set that not active and set that one active. Okay, so at this point down here, it's the opposite. So I'll do the opposite. All right. So that should do it. I think that should do an empty message when nothing is selected. And using all of the existing way that we track what's selected, so that should be at least as reliable as showing selected things was. All right. I should have left that not enabled to begin with, but let's select this and open that. And then when it gets over somewhere here and explodes, Okay, my mistake was this should not be enabled. That probably also shouldn't be enabled to begin with. Hopefully that doesn't break anything. Oh, my other mistake was that I have the memory of a goldfish, and I did not drag that there and that there. That's probably the bigger problem. Ah, cool. That has gone onto that. It's gone onto that now. Just wait for Boop to get crashed into a few times and attacked by whatever's about to spawn from here. I probably should have picked one of the kamikazes over there. Okay, there we go. Yep, nothing selected. Select that robot there. I think I have noticed an issue where nothing's showing selected here. Yeah, I think I've got a problem, possibly related to the fact that this was not enabled. So I think I might take a different approach. I might keep that enabled all the time and just have it behind. So it's just the empty message that comes up or that shows or hides. So that will hopefully just cover up that robot. Until I'm ready for it. All right, who's going to get exploded? You. Hello. Well, be gaming. Is that how you pronounce it? Because it sounds like a good way to pronounce it. Okay, I'm going to select this one. Pop that open, and we'll see what happens. Kaboom. Yep, that does seem to be working. Yeah, welcome. I'm making a robot game and just working on a bit of UI stuff. Got the blueprint editor showing the empty state, which is not super exciting, but just one of those things. And next will be routine editor, so I'll get started on that. So I don't need those anymore. That was unnecessary. I've ended up with the blueprint editor and the routine editor working in different ways, largely by making moderate improvements in the blueprint editor because I made it second. Aha! Look at that. That to do is exactly related to what I'm talking about. So this is an update. Ah, the obligatory, you've been streaming for a while. Viewers for sale thing. Oh, cool. That's good. Yes, C# has some nice things about it. If you have any questions, just, yeah, I'll just put that magnifier on there. Yeah, learning C#. Great. I started learning C# like 50 years ago or so. Not quite that long ago, since it was not invented yet, and nor was I. But yeah, it was quite a while ago. I'm definitely writing some C# here. So yeah, but just if you've got any questions, I love answering questions. Cool. Yeah, actually, I think an uncle in the UK who recommended learning C# and Prince 2, and I have learned both of those, but I don't think I actually used them for what he was recommending them for. So I'm not as wealthy as I should be, I guess. Anyway, so basically, what do we got here? I'm just going to look at this code because I don't know if this is I don't know if this is specifically looking for a robot or if I just wrote a not very specific comment there. Should we display routine? If we have a blueprint selected and it has changed, then yes, we're updating those command brushes. If we have changed our selection of the robot factory, then that's another reason to update that display. And then we'll do that. Yes, that is a robot if it's running the routine. So that's the thing that highlights the step of the routine that the robot is currently on. And otherwise, we just don't want to show that thing. Cool. Well, a side effect of having a giant warm cup of tea is that I've gotten too hot. So just going to disrobe slightly here. Oh, I have a logo on me, but it's not a currently relevant one. So pay it no mind. I need like a hook or something for this. Okay, back to it. It's been quite a cold bit of winter here. It's the windy time of year. So, taking off jackets is a bit of a rare thing. How do we know if there's nothing selected? I think that's when selected robot or factory is null. Where am I from? I am from the southern hemisphere, around the east coast of Australia kind of area. And that's going to happen in there. And I don't actually have an empty version of this. I think I'll just do the same thing because it was a relatively simple thing to do. That's my old routine editor. Here's my new one. So I've got this button here to open the blueprint editor. And there's my command palette. There's my routine track. So yeah, I think I just want a new panel. Ah, beautiful, beautiful. This is because I have tinkered with some stuff in this canvas here. Just name that, and then here. So my what have I got here? Something to do with my because it's world space. So like one unit is like as wide as one of these tiles instead of being 1 pixel. So the way to fix that from this perspective is to basically do what I probably did over here. Maybe. Yeah, so you scale things down to 0.1 and then you can basically make them 100 times as big. and then it looks nicer. I've gotten myself lost here. There's the current empty message. It's all right. Do the opposite. That's set that. It was like the opposite. I think I made it enormous. Let's just like center it. Not do any scaling. Okay, now it's that size. Let's just adjust this. Let's adjust that bit to there. Just put that button on there because I already had a canvas. All right, so that's where we are there. And I'll just multiply that by 100. And that by 100. And then divide by 100. Like that. So there we are. That sort of is doing that. And I think this is about the point where it's starting to become an issue that I have got some like see-throughness. Actually, there. Yeah, that'll do. I'm not trying to make it super pretty because everything here is temporary, which means I probably could just copy this, paste it in here. Paste it somewhere else and move it into there apparently. And now I need to reposition this. Yep. That looks like an empty message to me. And I can basically just do the same thing. I'll just need to get that empty message. Transform, don't need that. We'll go get a game object. It's sort of not going to make any difference at this point. It's just they're all linked together. Okay, where was I? Empty message. Is it active? Ah. That's actually, this is when we know that something's changed. So that's probably the place. I'm just going to put this here, which I might have just put that whole thing up here also. Because I don't really want to be calling those every single update if I can help it. So yeah, just this basically means the selection has changed. Somehow, because it can be, this can basically just be directly changed by the has routine selection. I should change how that works really. It's better when how it works with the blueprint editor where it calls a callback. But anyway, that's how it's working. Oh, no, I don't want it to. Oh wait, no, yes I do. Where's the empty message? So yeah, the empty message will show when nothing's selected, and it will hide when something is selected. Okay, so I need to remember to drag that across to here. Empty message there. And also I want that empty message to be like hidden by default. Probably doesn't matter, but that's all fine. There we go. Okay, let's see if that works. Oh no, let's be more confident. Let's see that working. Okay. What am I looking at doing? Right now it's not showing anything because the selection hasn't changed because nothing was selected. So maybe I should have had it showing by default. Anyway, grab that. And when that explodes, which is inevitable, select a robot or factory, and that should be showing the same. Or factory or robot, rather. Oh, this one looks like a different color for some reason. That's fine. Doesn't look very good, but I can always replace it with another empty state in the future. This is such an effective strategy against like these default bots. Just basically have a wheel, move forward. You can't shoot or anything. Doesn't matter. You just get there quick enough that you run into the factory and do some damage. Anyway, that's working. I don't like it aesthetically. Just having a big white panel over here. The problem is the way that I've got this stuff set up. It's kind of maybe a little fragile. So actually hiding it rather than like having it disabled or hidden, it ends up being a bit more complicated and might get some instability happening. So instead of that, at the moment I'm just keeping it simple. Dangling red bar. Oh yeah. So that's the little one here. That is the health bar of the shield. Do these ones block? They don't block. Let me get these blocking. Get them doing a few blocks, and a few lasers, just for fun. So you'll see here. Well, no, you won't. It exploded. You'll see maybe when the next one spawns. Does anyone have a block? Oh yeah, that's blocking. These block. Have a look at that. That little tiny health bar for the shield rotates when they block. So it's just a thing with its own little health bar. And pretty janky. I'll fix it sometime. But when you rotate them upside down, it's still getting the health bar in the same place. And for some reason, I've got the health bar taking on the rotation of the thing. Those aren't. I actually control these as well because I didn't program anything to stop you doing that yet. Maybe I should, although it's kind of good for debugging. Let's see, when's the next one due to spawn? Oh yeah, just about now. There we go. So yeah, just is a bit silly looking. So basically what I should have is a container that has the health bar and the shield in it. And then just have the shield doing its animation within that container without moving the container itself. Or have the health bar fixed to a particular point on the shield. Have that be a pivot and then somehow keep the health bar just completely horizontal. But I'm not sure about the shield having a little health bar on it. Anyway, this is fun when they Yeah, there's a few different things like that. But yeah, essentially I just used the same system I had for showing health bars on on the robots and factories, and so that's where it's at right now. Definitely not a final thingy, but yeah, I find this amusing. After they've destroyed the factory, if they're not reprogrammed, they'll essentially just keep marching into this invincible wall and take 1,000,000 damage and die. Wait, does it do 1,000,000 damage? I'll check. Walls. Hit points, 1,000,000. Max HP, 1,000,000. Collision damage, 1,000,000. Yeah. No, is that 1,000,000? It is 1,000,000. Why does that look like more than 1,000,000? Oh, it's 1,000,000. So that's why they explode. It is also invincible. So even if it got hit with 1,000,000 damage worth of stuff, nothing would happen. I still managed to have my tea go cold, but at least it took a long time. All right. So I think I've got those empty messages. That's good. Now I'm coming up with what to do next. It's kind of getting to the point where I think I still have a bunch of work to do with systems, but I could clean up a bunch of things, such as making the routine editor things like the command brushes when you drag them not disappear. So basically, if I select something here, when I drag this, that's still there. I can drop that on the existing one. I'll replace it. There we go. But if I'm doing this, I actually drag it out of there and it's not there. And then when I drop this, it actually tells the command track what was dropped and returns that to where it was. So it's sort of weird because they reorder and everything. That would be nice to fix. Also need to figure out why the rotation doesn't rotate 90 degrees. I'm doing it with an animation, but I could do it instead with just in an update loop and interpolate the angle until it's facing the angle that I want it to be. Well, that looks fun. What are you up to, little robot? Uh-oh. He's done for. Yeah, so I could fix that. Or I could just start adding more parts. I could make it, I know what I'm going to do first. I'm going to make it so the wheel legs show up on the robot. Maybe this is time to start looking at the robot's part system. So at the moment they work by, here's Boop, the little example malfunctioning robot. So yeah, essentially I've got the laser gun and the shield as objects underneath the main robot body, and those will just be enabled when the robot spawns if it has those, which means that you can't really have two shield arms, even though it looks like you can in the blueprint editor. It'll just basically enable this twice, which just means it'll be enabled, and there's nothing to sort of swap out legs, that kind of thing. So I probably need to completely redo that at some point, so that I'm going to have robot that will be just the basic chassis with no parts on it, and have the actual like mount points maybe as nested objects where it's just the mount points, and then have the parts get actually added on there, so that especially if I have like 7 different types of weapons they could have on there, on the arm mount points, that's not going to well, shouldn't be too bad, but I think it'd be a lot better to just have a mount point and add something onto there. So maybe I'll do both of those things, or start tackling both of those things, getting the wheels showing up, and maybe I'll start with getting the wheel legs and standard legs as parts that actually just attach to a mount point. So how am I going to tackle that? Let's find out. I'll grab my this Adobe Acrobat Distiller. Didn't know they were into moonshine. What am I looking for? A-Sprite. Apparently, searching A-Sprite gives me a search for A-Sprite. Thank you. Very useful. So yeah, let me grab that. Okay. And I want this one. Okay, so in here is where I have my robot. There's the old robot. And then I made a newer one somewhere along here. That's my factory. Here it is. So there's a robot. And what I got here? It's that selection thingy. There's that guy. Explosion here, man. Yeah. So I think I just need a version of this. I'll make it a new one rather than remove legs from this one, because I think I'm actually have a sprite being cut out from those legs on that frame. Do I have a copy? Be nice if copy paste. There we go. Worked. It does work. Just worked just then. All right, so I think I just need like an eraser. Just take those off to begin with. Grab a brush. And what do I want to do here? Yeah, I guess just follow that shadow. Alrighty. Oh. I bought it on Steam. Yeah, I started building it myself. There's a question about A-Sprite. Yeah, I started trying to build it myself, and it was a lot of messing about. So then I think I thought, I'm fine with giving some money to the developer. And so I did. I don't remember how much money, but Yeah, definitely a good option if you've got the time to get it working. I forget what the issue was. I think sometimes Windows is not the best platform for building open source things. So that was possibly the main issue. Okay, so now we have a legless robot, and that should do. Just get that exported. Make sure we're going to the right place. Yep, that seems right. Yep. Okay, so now I should have that updating in here. So I'll just need to go in, make sure that's sliced, do a safe grid by cell size 64 square, and go. No, I don't wish to continue because I thought I had selected safe. Oh, that got reset when I did that, didn't it? All right, let's try that. Okay, cool. So now we have this, we have that, and we have those legs that can just be slapped on here. So that should be all good, except for, I'll just call this one robot legless. Cool. I'll apply that. Got my legless robot sprite. Now let's make that the default sprite for a robot. So I'll just grab my robot prefab here and just replace robot with robot legless. There we go, that's the first step. Take the robot's legs off, and even though it's a bit of a not the most efficient use of time, let's see some robots with no legs. Maybe they're hover robots. Actually, that's one of the types of legs I could create. It's like a little jetpack or hoverboard or something. But yep. Literally nothing else has changed, so they work just like they used to. The legs never used to actually move, so sort of they're just sliding around on the bottom of the torso instead of sliding around on the bottom of the feet. All right, that's enough of that. What next? Just get that robot prefab open again. So I'm going to need to have a leg mount point of some sort. So I'll just make this. So I might name that leg mount point legs. So this will correlate to, so what I'll hopefully end up with is this robot that has all these mount points that correlate to each of the different mount points that are shown in that blueprint editor. And that's where things will join on. So it would make more sense possibly with left and right arms having this be like 3D, but I could make this 3D at some point. But for now, it's 2D because I haven't learned how to make 3D pixel art yet. Cool. So I got my mount point for the legs. And then what's going to go under there is something that I want to start making. I guess the other thing is like if I get all the sprites consistent for legs, then I could maybe have this be just like an image. Just like this guy as a sprite renderer. Yeah, that's a possibility. Spurite? No, Sprite renderer. So I can grab these guys here. Basically get those legs in the right place. I think this is going to need some zoom. Maybe some computation. And I definitely want to move this to like in front of there. Get these pixels lined up right there or something. That's not quite lined up. Well, that bit should be 0. Okay, and we're talking about 64 pixels height. And we are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 pixels down from there. Probably want the pivot to be like there. We're like 23 pixels down. That looks pretty close. 0.35, 9375. That's too tall to be a pixel, isn't it? Miscalculated for sure. I could use this kind of thing where I just go put you here. That's going to be close enough. Cool. And then let me just wreck it with grabbing some budget legs shrink wrapped. Yep. So that is a reason that I might want to have a mount point and then have the thing that gets mounted on the mount point not just be setting the sprite, but oh yeah, I can't just set the sprite. So the shield, that's got to actually have a collider and relevant stuff like that. So yeah, I think definitely the mount points aren't going to have the sprite renderer on them directly. So what they'll need is just remove that component from there. Mount point will have a position. Wherever that might be. What do we got? Like, there is how many pixels? 5.29. Here, 0.31. 0.015 per pixel. Does that seem right? I don't know if that's right. That's apparently. Oh no, this seems right. Let's see, that's 1, 2, 3 pixels down to get to there. So we should be there. Yeah, seems pretty close, but very slightly off as well. So this is basically a 64 pixel square that has been mapped to a single unit. Okay, so I'm going to just temporarily create, let's say, budget legs under here, and that will have a sprite renderer with apparently nothing. Why did that not work so well? I'm missing something. Anyway, either this mount point should live like down here where the legs go, or it should just live in the center. Let's see, 0.3 should be a multiple of pixels. But it's really not, and it's off by heaps, like that much. Okay, so we've got that there. Now we've got this here. Oh, now the sprite renderer seems to be working. So I'll grab that one. See, if I just got the standard budget legs and that was centered, then it'd be in the right place. But now let's go with this one. Now, basically just thinking, how will I structure these? Because they'll be on the mount point. And then let's get the empty T out of the way. My gosh, this chair is noisy. Need to get a quieter one. Okay, let me close that. Yeah, so these budget legs should go there. Or so. They're where they're built to go. I guess down by one would make more sense where they are. Still doesn't look amazing, but I guess I better not try to go for amazing. These might actually be better to render like behind there. That's just visual, so it doesn't actually matter. But I could have, the legs specifically take damage, then the legs explode, and then they can't do any walk operations, but they can still sit there and shoot. So that would be interesting. Yep, got that. Is that, do I have any scaling on this? No, no scaling. No scaling, that's good. So rendering something, and we could include colliders and other things on here if we wanted. But now I can do a new one. I'll just duplicate the budget legs actually. Make it a standard legs. So these objects here would go into a prefab and be able to be attached. The main thing is, what would their position be? Like making sure that they could just be positioned directly on that point. So if there's any offset that needs to be done, have that happen elsewhere. I like to have that kind of baked into the parts. There we go, got both. So you could have those, or you could have that. Now I thought I remembered something to do with having an offset. But I might have been thinking of something else. So basically, it might be that there's a standard place that they attach, which is the mount point, and then if they want to have any offset from that, let's just do that now actually. So I'll just make another empty game object. Okay, call that budget legs, and then the actual budget legs goes in there. That way, that one's at 0, but this one has the offset. Is it just me, or is that slightly too wide? Can just be the selection. Yeah, it is. Just that orange selection outline. And I'll do the same thing for standard legs. Put them nested in there. All right. So now that I have both of those available, I'll go to the scene and have a look at Boop, who's clearly balancing on a bike wheel. All right, Boop, I'm gonna borrow some things from you. Get these budget legs and put it out here. Do I want to disconnect you, Boop, from your prefab? Or should I just like copy that and just paste it out here? That is not the right key shortcut. Did I just say start a build? No. Cancel that. Cancel. All right. key shortcut to make a build go, which is really bad for my stream, is the same shortcut. Oh, I mean, it's right next to the shortcut to paste. So that's a hazard. Okay, cool. So we got some things here. And these should be prefabs. And actually nest them in some way. Yeah, we'll do a folder here, and this is like they're going to be part prefabs. And so now we can have a budget legs, part prefab, standard legs, part prefab, and that's all we've got. All right, great. We got prefabs. We can do that, and we can open. Let's just open in here, and we're just going to delete those. Now we've got our mount point legs. Maybe I want to get a reference to that mount point. Just dragged into there, so do that. I'm also going to have a look at time because I need to just, oh yeah, I got like 5 minutes left. And I do need to pretty much just walk away at 5 minutes, slowly walk away because I have a fun, interesting upgrade to my knee. I'm now able to walk for 30 minutes per day, and I can ascend stairs. Grand total of 1 times per day. When you get to your 40s, you get fun upgrades like that sometimes. So yeah, basically I've got a knee cartilage injury. Need to, from having too much fun, and I need to take it easy for a couple of months at least to give it time to heal. What am I doing here? Here are some serialized fields. These are some things. What was I going to do? Get its mount points, yes. Oh, here's a spawn point for lasers. That's good. Seems like it could be split up into some different scripts, looking at the number of different things that are in here. That's something to consider in the not too distant future. Anyway, for now, we'll just grab our mount points. So this is where we will attach things, and this is going to be, what do I want of the mount point? Probably the transform. That's where I'm going to be spawning things under the transform. The transform is kind of the unit of navigating the hierarchy. I will name it mount point legs. See, at some point, probably these things will belong more to the laser part itself. So then the robot would just sort of let its parts know what action it's doing, and then they could respond if it's an appropriate one. When did the injury happen? It was like last year, so more than 6 months. Probably if I started taking it easy straight away, then it might be better by now, or most of the way better, but sometimes it takes me a while to get around to going to the doctor, following up on things, so pretty much, yeah, it took me about 6 months to get a scan on it and to find out that there was a tear, and I was sort of taking it easy, but taking it easy for me is still very active, and so it was still like too much for it to be able to heal. Cartilage is really slow to heal and regenerate, so this is basically something that I just need to kind of try to not do stuff, which is really, really weird for me, not doing stuff. So instead of not doing stuff, I'm just going to try and do stuff that I can do sitting down. Thankfully, game development is one of those things. Okay, I got my mount point legs. I'm going to click here. I've only got a couple of minutes, so I will probably finish getting these working next stream, but we might just get 1 second of seeing some legs on. Maybe, if I'm really quick at coding, which I wouldn't count on saying. Quick. Okay, there's my mount point for my legs. And so we now have that. I also need to have like some prefabs available. But I don't necessarily have to have the robot aware of the prefabs. The factory can attach those legs on. In fact, I don't think the robot actually has much awareness of that, so it might even be the factory needs to give it the mount points. I probably need to make like a robot constructing bit of code that just knows how to do that. So having this here, I don't know if that's adding anything. Unless I have like a method in here that can attach something. Well, there goes that thing. Okay, well let me put that on my to-do for next time. There we go. So finish adding part prefabs. To robots on spawn. Sweet. And I might kick off a build so that we can get a fun no legs version of the game up for a while. So I'll first of all, I'll thank you for watching. Always good to have people here and asking questions. And yeah, much less lonely. And it's a good thing about the internet. We don't have to just kind of be isolated when we're working on stuff anymore. And then I will end the stream and I will start this build. Which won't start until I get to some point. And I will hit yes to upload to itch after it's done. And so that should be up in about 10 minutes. Well, have a good evening. I'm going to sign out and go and get some sleep, because staying up late is another of the things that my knee doesn't really like very much. So